Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Amanda. So today I'm doing a collab with my friend Samantha from Samantha Pans here on YouTube and on Instagram. She is so great and I'm so happy that we met through Instagram and decided to do a collab together. This is my first video collab I've done in forever. I've probably done a couple like 5 years ago, but on like my new Instagram, all that stuff, this is my first video collab I'm doing and I'm so excited about it. We are going to be doing a Go Red for ALS look today, and I'm going to be kind of chatting with you guys a little bit about what ALS is. Samantha did explain a little bit more about ALS and what she learned about ALS in her video, so I'm thinking I might kind of talk more about my experience with my dad's progression and stuff like that, just to kind of get my side of like what it's like to, there's a big bug on my window. I'm glad it's not inside. What it was like to watch my dad progress with ALS and kind of just how it has affected me, how it has affected my family, and how it affected him. And so I think that's what I'm going to do. So make sure to watch Samantha's video. I will have it linked down below so you kind of can know a little bit more on what she learned about ALS through her research. And I will chat a little bit about what it is and then more about my dad's progression and like what it was like to watch him go through the disease. So we're doing a full red makeup look. I'm very excited to do this today with Samantha, and let's just get into it. I'm going to start by priming my eyelids, and I have the Pacifica Liquid Full Coverage Concealer. I do use concealer to prime my eyelids. So my dad got diagnosed in January of 2019. He started having some symptoms more in late 2018 where he felt like he was getting a lot of weakness in his legs. So he had obviously the weakness, and he was a big CrossFitter, so he did a lot of CrossFit and working out. So we noticed a lot of weakness, and he couldn't do like double unders, which is where you like jumping rope and you can do two, like the rope goes around 2 times while your feet are up in the air. And so that was kind of his first realization that something was wrong. And quickly I'm going to go into Love You So Brunch by Profusion. I'm going to go into the creamer shade because I am trying to hit pan on that for just for myself. I don't have it actually in a project. But yeah, so late 2018 he did start noticing that something was up. He started going to the doctor, seeing what was going on, and some of his doctors were worried that it could be a neurodegenerative disease like MS or ALS. He was really hoping that it wasn't that, but unfortunately we did find out that it was. I'm gonna put some lip balm on. So in like the beginning of January 2018, we had an idea that it could be ALS, and then I believe it was January 21st of the beginning of 2019, we had an idea that it could be ALS, and then January 21st of 2019 is when we got the official diagnosis from the doctor. That was such a hard day, probably one of the worst days of my life, just finding that out. I remember where I was at the gas station before I flew out to North Carolina to see him. So that was quite hard. Where did I put? I had a palette. I don't know where I put it. Did I not bring it? Oh, it's right here. I'm going to be playing with some new palettes I got from a friend. I got the So Jaded and the Through My Eyes palette. I also got the Midnight Masquerade palette, but I'm going to play mostly with these two. So I'm actually going to go in to the So Jaded palette and go into the Rose Quartz shade and use that as my transition. There's a hair and probably my dog hair. My dog's hair gets everywhere. Actually, so I filmed this yesterday and it did not, like, the file got corrupted, and it was kind of like one of those, okay. So I think I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of going into Rose Quartz, I think I'm going to go into Geodude and use that as my transition shade. So in, like, from that time, from January till about March, I think is when my dad moved back out here, was in March, back out to Colorado. I would go out to North Carolina during the week to take care of him, just spend time with him, just make it a little easier on him, do some housework, stuff like that. Then I would go home on the weekends and work. So that was kind of a lot, but I would never like go back and do anything different. That was probably one of my favorite things I could have done, just because I got to spend so much time with him. He was just, it all started in his legs, so he had a lot of weakness in his legs. And the thing about ALS is that like not each person can have different starting symptoms. Like it's a neuro, where do I have my, okay, I have my piece of paper, so I'm gonna read this to you because I wrote this down because my brain doesn't work. Like I'm not going to be able to say it correctly if I don't have it written down. So it's a progressive neurodegenerative disease. And by the way, I took this from the ALS.org, and what ALS is, the article, a whole article on there about what ALS is. So this is from that article, and I'm going to link it down below so you guys can read a little bit more about it. So it's a progressive neurodegenerative disease that affects nerve cells in the brain and the spinal cord. So it ends up killing your motor neurons, which are the signals that send signals from your brain to your muscles to like work and work. When motor neurons die, the ability of the brain to initiate and control muscle movement is lost. So basically you're slowly losing muscle movement in your body. So like people can start having issues with talking, swallowing, breathing, like arm movement, leg movement. So my dad started with his legs, and so he like just kind of walked like he had very stiff legs most of the time, so that's kind of how it started. He started using a cane probably in January or February to walk. And next I'm gonna go into carnelian, this kind of orangey shade, to warm everything up a little bit more. So he started using a cane and mostly used his cane from probably January to March, I would say. And then he started using, oh my gosh, am I gonna forget what these are called? Okay, I just asked my mom. They're like arm crutches, like the ones that you, like you kind of have, they go around your arm and you hold them from the front instead of like holding them on the side. So he used those kind of crutches for quite a while actually. He probably used those the longest to walk. And his legs did like continue to weaken. It didn't get to the point of a wheelchair until like August of 2019, and that's kind of when he like moved into his house, and we ended up I ended up quitting my job and taking care of him then. So what am I doing next? Okay, so I'm gonna go into the shade Misbehave in the I Love Sarah E palette. Why did I tap off my brush? There's nothing on there yet. So yeah, he some things we kind of were able to do during his like progression. We were able to go to Germany in April of 2019 and visit some family, so that was really fun. It definitely was difficult because of like the accessibility of the house that we were staying at. It was definitely hard for my dad to get up and down the stairs, but he could still do it at that point. And he just used his crutches, but he was able to do it by himself. It was just kind of hard for him to do. So that was one thing that we were able to do. My dad did go skydiving. He kind of like had a little bucket list of stuff he wanted to get done, and he pretty much crossed off a ton of stuff on that bucket list. So in like July, I believe, and quickly, I'm going into Garnet in the So Jaded palette to deepen everything up in the outer V. But yeah, so he ended up being able to go skydiving. So there was a lot of things that he was able to do while the disease progressed and while sick. But it was definitely like a very hard disease. It's definitely like, I'm using a little tissue to clean everything up. It was definitely a disease with a lot of loss before the actual loss of my dad, like a lot of loss for him. In like muscle movement and not being able to do things that he loved doing, like working out. He was still able to swim, so he still worked out a lot throughout like 2019. He was doing a lot of swimming, and he did go to the gym, and he had a personal trainer who was like the most amazing person in the whole world, and I'm actually getting emotional thinking about her. But she was just so amazing and like such a great soul, and did so much for my dad, and just I adore her and hope she's doing good. But yeah, so my dad still was able to do like a lot of stuff, but that's because he was just a very strong and determined person. Like, he didn't want to give up the things he loved, and I feel like that's like something that a lot of people with ALS like don't want to do. They just kind of want to keep fighting, and like that's something like that is just such a inspirational thing to think about. It's just all the people who have to struggle with this awful disease that really has no, it not even really, just has no cure, and they're not even really sure like how people get it. Like, there's no, they really don't know what causes it. That's the word I'm looking for, like what causes it. They do help people who were in the military, so they do help veterans, and like they give veterans 100% disability, and then also like, because it's more common in veterans and athletes. So I'm having a feeling it has something to do with like maybe things that people get exposed to when they're in the military or something. And I don't really know, I'm not sure. It's weird because it is more likely in veterans and athletes. So very interesting, not really sure why, but that is like a fact about ALS, is that it is more common in veterans and athletes. And so my dad was a veteran, and he was able to get 100% disability, which was something that was such a blessing for us, and something that's so hard to watch other people who get it who can't get that because of how expensive of a disease it is, whether you're getting certain equipment for it. They have medication for it that's supposed to like prolong your life, and I'm not sure if it really does, because I know my dad was taking his meds and he did go pretty quickly. Once he got diagnosed, he was alive for 13 months, but I believe he had it more like a year and a half from when he started getting symptoms. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my NYX glitter glue and prime my lids. I'm saying a lot just because I'm trying to figure out what the heck I want to say. Like, so yeah, so he was able to do still a lot of stuff and was very, very inspirational to a ton of people. He had a blog for a while when he started, when he first got diagnosed. He did a lot of writing, which he was an English teacher, so he was a very good writer, and he just had a way with words. So a lot of people loved his blog, and he just was very funny and goofy, and that's just kind of how he was. So, you know, his blog posts would make you laugh and just kind of inspire you a little bit. I'm trying to think what else I want to say. We had a few vacations where we went out to see people. In August of 2019, we went to Alabama to see some family, and then in September of 2019, we went to Portland, Oregon for the Portland ALS walk. So we actually did 2 ALS walks in 2019. We did the Portland walk and we did the Denver walk. And then late October, we went to New York to visit family. So my dad was able to visit family, and I don't want to say like really get his goodbyes, but really honestly get his goodbyes, and just at least have some time with family that he could spend before he, you know, had to go. And we didn't know when he was going, but he just wanted to be able, while he still could, to travel and just hang out with family and be around family. Ooh, excuse me. Be around family. He was a huge family guy, loved his family. He was a huge family guy. Loved his family, and just very, very much like one of those people in your family who stays in contact with everybody. He kind of was that glue of the family that kept everyone together. So yeah, he was just a very, very inspirational man. So I miss him a lot. A few things about him: he was a teacher and he was a radio DJ, so he had his hobbies. He loved to write, to do his radio, be a DJ. His name was Joe Casper. If anyone ever, he did like oldies radio, so he was a big oldies guy. He loved any music from like the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And I just say his name because I've known people who like have heard him on their radio stations in the past. So if anyone has ever heard of him, that's my dad. But he's not. It wasn't like, I mean, it wasn't like he was like this huge radio DJ that everyone knows. But he still was a great DJ. Had a great DJ voice. Did radio up until a few weeks before he died, which was very inspirational. Also taught his college classes a few weeks before he died, all online. So that was also super inspirational, and just, he was just a freaking awesome guy. I'm going in with Lash Princess Volume Mascara, and, let's see. Yeah, we were able to do a lot. One thing that was awesome is we were able to do a lot of stuff, while he was sick. Even as he progressed, he did have to start using a wheelchair in August of 2019, and we did have to travel with that wheelchair, but it wasn't too big of a deal. It was definitely like, it was a little stressful to travel, but it was totally worth it, and just, we had a lot of fun visiting family throughout the year. Let me think. He just kind of tried to live his life as normal, you know what I'm saying, as he could, and I like do quotations because everyone has a different life, and you know what's normal, but as normal as he found normal for him, doing his work still working part-time, visiting family, going on vacations, teaching, working out as much as he could, and yeah, so he was just a really, really inspirational guy. He made friends with so many different kinds of people. He was never one of those people who judge people too hard, and made a lot of friends, and he definitely has inspired me to just try to see the best in people unless you can't, because sometimes people suck. I'm gonna be straight up. But I try my best. I feel like, especially like through his communities, he's met so many great friends through teaching, through doing radio, through working out, and that's kind of what makes me love the Squishmallow and especially the makeup community, because I'm able to meet so many different kinds of people who have the same passions as me, and you know, it's just really nice. It's something I see that we have in common, where we both have our hobbies and things we love, and we're able to find great people through those things. And my dad was not the most judgmental person, so that's really nice too. He just kind of tried to find the best in people, and you know, even if sometimes you couldn't, you still tried. But it's always been something that, you know, has been inspirational to me, just trying to find the best in people, even if you can't sometimes. And it's okay if you can't, because like I said, sometimes people can suck, and you don't always have to find the best in people, because it's really hard to sometimes. But I think it's something I keep in the back of my head to just think about, and you know, not exactly judge a book by its cover until you really get to know more about them, because I'm definitely one of those people who can like jump to conclusions about people and not really know much about them, and then obviously you get to know them and maybe they suck, maybe they don't, but it's helpful to kind of have that idea in your head about not reading a book or judging a book by its cover. I mentioned this when I tried to do my video yesterday. It's hard, especially like this time, like now in life, just because so much controversial stuff has been happening and you really see the true colors of people. So it's hard to be like, okay, like I'm gonna try and not judge people, because like people make it really hard not to judge them sometimes. But he definitely like has helped me realize that sometimes you need to dig a little deeper with people and really see what kind of people they are before you decide if you like them or not, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm trying to think what else I want to say about him. I'm going to go in with the Kokie Be Bright Concealer for my under eyes. So I guess I'll talk a little more about ALS and kind of maybe some of the things that he was able to, like medically kind of things that happen. So he was able to do like physical therapy, occupational therapy. He went to the doctor a lot just to get his lungs tested, how much like lung function he had, and he did have really good lung function most of his diagnosis, probably up until a month or two, month and a half before he passed. So that was always something that was very helpful for my well-being, just to hear that at least his breathing's okay, even if like there's other things that aren't as okay. I'm gonna go back into misbehave. So he didn't really get affected by breathing or like swallowing or anything. Even up until he passed, his breathing was not as great, you could definitely tell, but I think the swallowing was okay, which kind of freaked me out, because like if your swallowing is not great, you can definitely choke on food. So that always worried me a bit, but that was something that was okay with him. He did start losing arm function, and he wasn't able to use his arms as well. It was more his legs that were really, really bad. And then towards probably like November or December of 2019 is when his arms kind of stopped doing what they should be doing. And working as well, and we were definitely helping him a lot more. And we were kind of all, me, my sister, and my mom were full-time caregivers to him, which is something that was quite hard, but also very rewarding, and something I would do all over again for sure. So I feel like I'm like seem like kind of a little monotoned and a little Debbie Downer, but it is really hard to kind of get into this and rethink about it. So that is kind of the reason that I seem like I'm a little bummed out. It's because I am. I'm gonna go into Diamond. Shout out to Bridget from Puke Pans on Instagram, who told me that this is such a good shade, and it seems like such a good shade. I used it yesterday as my inner corner highlight, and I quite enjoyed it. So I feel like it's very pretty. So yeah, that's I guess I'll go into a little bit about when I started Go Red for ALS. So in 2019, in May of 2019, or end of April, when I was in Germany, I actually made the video, May is ALS Awareness Month, and I kind of went into how I was going to go red for ALS, and I've pretty much done it the past 3 Mays. This is the 3rd May. And I just bring red into my life in the ways that I really enjoy, whether like it be makeup or clothing or jewelry and stuff like that. Mostly like makeup. I was doing it on my Instagram a lot, and this is actually the 1st May that I've like fully consistently been doing it. The last 2 ones have just been really hard. That's just kind of how life was. The 1st May I was just not in a great place, and my dad was just sick, so it was really hard for me. I was unfortunately drinking a lot, so I wasn't a very consistent person in general. And then last May, I was just not in a good place either, because I had just lost my dad, and I just was very confused and stuff like that. So I'm in a lot better space right now, and it just feels really good to be consistently doing this, and being able to collab with a bunch of great people like Samantha to show awareness, and it just feels very rewarding to be able to show awareness for ALS for the people who have passed from ALS or who are currently fighting. So yeah, it's just a very, very rewarding thing to be doing, and it's kind of like it just makes me feel a little bit closer to my dad, even though he's not with me right now. It just makes me feel good to be able to do this, and just be spreading awareness in any way that I can, and just have that time to feel very close to him, because I miss him a ton, you know. It's been a year and about 2 months almost. Actually, today's the 18th, so I know exactly how many. It's a year. We're like 10 days away from a year and 2 months. So he passed away on February 28th, and that was probably the hardest day of my life. So it's just, you know, if any of you have lost anyone or lost a parent, it's just really hard to not have them anymore. I am going in with the Winky Lux Cheeky Rose Blush in Teat. No, wait, this is not the one I wanted. Hold on. Oh, no, it's right here. Okay, this is the shade Crown, and it's kind of like this, like, reddy, kind of pinky red tone, so I feel like it's, like, perfect for this month, and it's just a very pretty kind of reddy blush, kind of gives you that sun-kissed look. Yeah, so I don't know, I'm having a hard time to figure out what else to say. We were able to go to ALS support groups, meet other people who knew people, like had family who was affected or were affected themselves by ALS. So we met some really awesome people through that. That was nice. It was healing in some ways, and just kind of knowing you're not alone is very nice. And so it was really cool to kind of figure out like what things they had for ALS. Like they had a ski to defeat ALS, so we went skiing one time. My dad was able to ski for the last time, and they take you skiing on this little, like, it's like, looks like a little bike, like a ski bike thing. And so that was really cool that he was able to go skiing. He went to like kind of a what's the word I'm looking for, like convention kind of, that gives you like resources for ALS, things like doctors you could go to, programs that like are helpful for people with ALS, and I think we learned about it through the support group. So there's a lot of things that the ALS Association does, and they're amazing. They let you, they have like rental equipment that you can use. So we had like my dad had like an extra mattress on his bed, so it was easier for him to sleep and kind of roll around and stuff, because the one he had wasn't like so good when he couldn't move as much. And so that was really cool. They just have a bunch of resources. I am going to leave the ALS Association link down below. I'm saying, like, please do not feel like you need to donate. If you do want to donate, it goes to the ALS Association, and it goes to helping people with ALS and all that stuff. That is an option on there. But also you can just kind of learn more about what ALS is and what they do to support people with ALS. So it's a really great association. They did so much for us during my dad's time when he was sick, so I really appreciate them. They are freaking awesome. And I am actually going to, I was going to go put blush over this, but I think this looks okay. So I'm just going to go into a highlighter. I'm going to go into the Good to Glow palette from Ofra with the All of the Lights highlighter, and I am going to just use like these two shades. But yeah, I feel like we got a lot of support. My dad was able to visit with a lot of friends. A lot of people just wanted to help as much as they can. My dad said one of the things that was great about, not great, but like a good learning experience from being sick is people are a lot kinder to you. You just see the good side of people when they know that you're not in like a great place. So that was kind of nice, like to be able to see the good side of people. There were times where you didn't see the good side of people, and like I don't know, I just remember this one time in Germany, this guy like cut my dad off and like went in front of him, and like he could obviously tell that he was like couldn't walk like well in his crutches and stuff like that, and I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but most of the time you saw the good in people. So that was really nice just to be able to have that experience for him. I'm like, I don't know what that's like. No, I'm just kidding. I get to see the good in people all the time. So, but when you're sick, people are a lot kinder to you because they feel bad. I mean, that sounds terrible, but it is the truth. And but that's not a bad thing. It's nice. I remember my dad wrote something in his blog about being able to see the best in people and how nice it was, and how it was just very uplifting to see how kind people can be. So yeah, my dad was just a really awesome person. He was a super funny guy throughout his whole diagnosis and disease. He just kept a very uplifted attitude even when he wasn't. We definitely saw the side of him that was not super uplifted. And quickly, I'm going to use the High Beauty Essence powder to powder my forehead because I look greasy. But yeah, he was just goofy all the time, always making jokes and had his sense of humor. And I asked people actually, and quickly, I'm gonna go in with Bond Girl, which is a lipstick that my dad actually got me when he was in London, too long ago. I'm not gonna tell you how old this lipstick is, but I will never get rid of it, even when it goes bad. But it's not bad. Still smells like vanilla. Doesn't look funky. I've used quite a bit of it, but I feel like it's gonna look really pretty with this look. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I asked some people on Facebook if they would tell me some of their favorite stories. Hold on, let me just get this on first. If they would tell me some of their favorite stories about my dad. My aunt ended up texting me, and she was just like, here's a funny story about when your dad was like getting closer to the end of his life, and we knew he wasn't doing so good. Sorry, I had to get something from my mom. But my aunt was just like being a goofball like she always is, and she said something really funny, and my dad said, Karen, I don't know how much longer I have to live, but I don't think I needed to know that. And like, he didn't say it in a rude way, he said it in like a funny way, and my aunt said it just like proved to her how, and it was very inspirational, how even through one of the hardest times in your life, like his life, he kept such a positive and goofy attitude. So yeah, I hope that was a good video for you guys. It was a little hard for me to do, but I definitely like being able to share. Okay guys, my video stopped, but I was saying it was a little bit hard for me to do this video, but it was just really nice to be able to share this information with you guys. I was making sure that my camera and all that was my phone was working. Stop. I thought it didn't film the whole video, and I was about to freak out because I filmed this yesterday and it didn't work. So I just wanted to say I appreciate everyone who's been such a support this month, and just this amazing community of makeup and panning who have just been so amazing and so supportive. I have so many names in my head that I can mention, but I just I'm just so happy to be a part of this community that is so supportive, and I will continue to go red for ALS every May as long as I can, and I just have so many amazing people by my side. And I appreciate Samantha so much. Please go check out her video. It's going to be linked down below. She's such a sweet soul and had so much good information that she learned about ALS, which I appreciate so much from her. Like, it means so much that she did research before this video. Excuse me. It means so much that she did research before this video and just really took this seriously, and I just appreciate that so much. It means so much to me. I can't even put it into words. And just all the amazing people who have been there for me, been supportive, and been collabing with me, and all the amazing people who continue to collab with me this month. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.